going against the human.
But my question is, I'm actually asking something a little bit different. I'm asking that natural reaction, especially for people like us that are around abortion all the time, are that human reaction is to desensitize yourself.
Right.
Should
you can't
we
run
fight
on that.
Well,
Sometimes.
Why?
I want to ask you a question. Okay, never mind.
Why? Yeah, I'll let you tag it. Like I find when I'm in front of a graphic display, I have been around them so much, I'm pretty much desensitized to them.
Right.
I've seen them. My brain is saying normal because I've just seen it.
Yeah.
But when I'm talking to someone about it, I have to like force myself to take that step back and remember that is a human being torn apart.
Right.
You have to make yourself feel that emotion again by reminding yourself, and it helps to see other people's reactions and other people who are fresh, new, sensitized to this view, and you see their reaction, and it hits me sometimes when I see, oh my gosh, they're so terrified, they look at it, they're upset, they're emotional. How can that happen? And I'm feeling guilty because I've been standing by it all morning, and I've been eating lunch and cracking jokes with my friends.
Right.
So you do have to at times remember and
you have to try to get back. I mean, sometimes, like I remember with me, I used to be doing. Before I was around like Genocide Awareness Project and Justice for All. I was doing a lot of presentations where I used the Abort 73, the This Is Abortion video.
Oh,
and
that's still hard for me to watch. It never gets better.
Yeah. See, for me, it became, and even before This Is Abortion, maybe I was using something else similar. But it got to a point where I noticed after 100 of these. And I would always watch the video. I was starting to get desensitized to the images, and so I stopped watching them.
Well, see, when I used to do presentations, I stopped watching it because, I mean, I don't need to see that over and over again. And because I was around pictures, we did the GAP and everything, the Genocide Awareness Project, I was around that a lot. The video, because it was different than just the pictures.
Right.
I didn't want to watch it.
Right. But see, for me, what I did purposefully was to, after doing maybe 10 presentations where I didn't look at it, then watch it again to try to resensitize myself a little bit and respark, because you don't want to just look at this issue like a math problem, or like a logic, like we're just looking at a lot of, like I should be feeling more emotional angst about this than I do. And it's like, well, maybe that would be away. And that problem got solved after we miscarried, because we miscarried at 10 weeks, and now every single time I see a video, and they have the age of the kids, and at some point there's some of those kids are 10 weeks old. Now I don't have a problem with, it's really, now it's hard for a whole nother reason, but
Well, I think, again, for people that are involved with the pro-life movement a lot, if you're doing something, like we do here, a lot of education stuff, I know speaking when we were in Teens for Life and something like that, was that doing all of the work or presentations or even standing out with the signs, you can kind of become desensitized because you're kind of going through the routine.
Right.
Going to the abortion clinic on a weekend just to pray or stand out in front of something like that was something that always kind of re-triggered it for me, because you're seeing the girls go in and you're seeing them come out. And I just got chills right there.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've got one last comment on this. I want to move. I've got one more thing I want us to talk about today. I think we've covered this well. I have one illustration to prove that there's some pro-lifers that don't really think of the unborn as persons, or at least don't, when they talk about abortion, it doesn't come across like they do. I remember I posted the story on my personal Facebook, the article about that woman in England.
Do you have two separate Facebooks?
Well, there's the fan page that I administer for the podcast.
Okay, because I was like, why do I only have one Josh Brom as a friend? Because now we have a personal problem here.
I have 3 Josh Broms as friends. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
I think there's only one other Josh Brom, but he doesn't have a microphone in front of his face.
You would know.
You would know. I posted on my Facebook this story that we talked about on the podcast. I think it's episode 110 of the woman who had 4 abortions in 3 years.
Right.
And I might have
We talked about that on the show, didn't we?
Yeah, that was in episode 110. Right. Yeah. That was the episode that we did an episode.
I'm sorry, my brain just slipped. I heard you posted this on your Facebook, and I totally missed the episode.
So I posted either the story or maybe the podcast title. And there was a pro-lifer, like one of my pro-life Facebook friends, which is 900 of which I don't know personally. They're just pro-life, we're networking. Her comment under the article headline was, "That's horrid. C has a higher chance of getting cancer." Now, Trot Out the Toddler.
What's
Imagine
worse?
a mother straps her 4 kids into the back seat of the car, drives the car into a lake to drown them, and escapes the vehicle. She wasn't ever trying to drown herself. She was just trying to kill the kids. So drives the car into the lake, drowns her kids, but she escapes through the window. Imagine someone responding, "That's horrid. She may have drowned." Like, she was at risk of drowning. Like, no one would say that. But I wonder if we become so desensitized to abortion that then we suddenly go to, well, she could have gotten cancer. Like, that just seems like an odd response to me.
I think now, yes, if that was kind of the gut reaction to hearing that story, but it may have been an attempt to show concern for the woman. Now, granted, that there may have been better. That's true. That's fair to say. Someone might have taken that approach of, she did all of this for herself, but she may have actually hurt herself in the process.
Right.
Okay, maybe you've had those years to live as you please, but maybe now you're going to get cancer. You need to think about that. And Carrie talks a lot about how you talk to women when they're in that situation. You're not necessarily talking about the child, but about them.
Right. I'll go even farther to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe she was horrified by the 4 abortions, but she figured everyone would automatically be horrified by it. So she's going to point out a secondary topic.
I would assume that's what it was.
Right.
I would just say, just be careful, pro-lifers, because when you communicate something like that, what that could communicate to me, if I wasn't a big benefit of the doubt giving guy, is all you care about is the fact that she might get cancer. Like, that's a crazy reaction. So just be careful in the way that you respond.
No, that's a good point.
I had the next topic I was going to get to is too big of a topic for us to do in only 7 minutes. So I have an optional. This is what we'll do instead. We were going to do this last time. I heard a new pro-choice argument that I've never heard before. Okay. It's not a very good one, but
which is why you've never heard of it.
It's
obviously.
One I hadn't heard before, and I come up with a little illustration, a counter, which I think is a good one. But I'll throw it to you guys. We'll see what you guys say first, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Let's try to come up with his exact counter.
I'll come with a better one.
I know you'll come with of course you'll come with a better one.
Okay. We're going to use Niagara Falls and a bird.
The argument is this.
Okay, so.
What?
Okay, let him try.
Abortion is just a medical treatment for unwanted pregnancy. And since medical treatments should be legal, don't laugh at them.
No, sorry.
Be nice.
See, when you throw out the arguments, I'm immediately thinking about attacking the arguments. Can I say for the record that I don't laugh at people who give me the argument?
You're laughing at a bad argument.
Usually.
Not to their face.
And I'm not even laughing at the argument. This is interesting to me. I hadn't.
Can you repeat?
Abortion is just a medical treatment for unwanted pregnancy. What would you say?
Is then murder just a medical treatment for unwanted people?
Now you've opened another can of worms because now you're getting into capital punishment and stuff like that that you don't really want to get into.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
I think the first thing would be that you have to define pregnancy in and of itself as a disease or as a problem that needs to be eradicated from the human body regardless. And I think that is the biggest hole in that argument.
I think that's really good.
Is because if you're looking at it as a medical procedure, regardless of the fact there are medical procedures for things that are not life-threatening or anything like that, the problem is that, or the issue is that is a problem that people consider, that people would consider is a problem.
Is pregnancy
and
a
pregnancy
disease?
is not a problem. Unwanted pregnancy, well, now you've changed the subject away from that argument.
Right. And there are some people that actually would go even farther than this gal did who made this argument to me. I'm almost positive it was Dr. Warren Hearn, who's the nation's leading abortionist and one of the only late-term abortionists, has said pregnancy is a disease. The most, and I'm paraphrasing because I think he said the preferential or the preferred treatment of is abortion. I mean, some people will actually say pregnancy is a disease. I think that's wrong.
Okay. Well, I would take you back to the definition of disease. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure there's a definition of disease that would exclude
I agree.
pregnancy. But seriously, that would be the moment when I'd wish I was pregnant at that point. Say, are you telling me I have a disease?
Right.
Are you telling me that there's a problem?
We don't have that argument.
No, you'll never have that argument.
So let's say you get off of to move us to the next thing. Let's say they say, fine, it's not a disease, but for some women they want a treatment, and this is a medical treatment. This is a legal medical treatment, and for this unwanted pregnancy. Is there another what would you do to?
Well, trot out a toddler.
I'm wondering if you're going to make how we could trot out a toddler.
Okay. women have medical issues like anxiety, panic attacks sometimes. You might have someone who has a super high stress disorder. Well, what helps stress and anxiety more than a 2-year-old running around the house?
Nothing helps it less than having a 2-year-old run around.
Exactly. So if you're in that situation, okay, you've got a problem. You've got a disease with yourself, and having that 2-year-old does not help. So, and there have been women who have cited disorders as to why they killed their children. Wasn't it that woman who drowned her children in the bathtub and claimed she claimed she had a psychological disorder, and that made her do it? Well,
that's a great response. That was really good.
Is that a medical procedure to address her disease?
Right.
Although I do agree that is a more eloquent argument, even that is a solid one. I think it still does not answer the question of you have to define whether or not people would consider that pregnancy would be considered a disease, or that it's something that would require a medical treatment.
Yeah, I'm actually in agreement. I did not. Right. That's not the tactic that I took a couple days ago when I had this argument proposed to me, and I wish I had. I think that would have been a better foundational thing
they have to prove it's a disease.
To go after. The illustration I gave is similar to yours. Instead of trotting out a toddler, I trotted out a Jew. I said, suppose.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to sound racist or mean. I'm just saying you don't have to
I don't believe you're going to use it
always
in a
have
racist
to
way.
use. You don't always have to try to toddler. You can try to other unwanted people.
Right.
So I said, imagine you're a rich German living in 1942, and you need a liver transplant, and there's no healthy livers from all the normal places you would get a liver. So Dr. Mengele hears about what's happened to you, and he offers you. He says, "Hey, I'm doing experiments on Jews anyway here at Auschwitz. I will find a Jew with a healthy liver and kill him so that we can transplant, and I'll take care of the transplant and we'll cure your disease."
That's excellent.
That would be a medical treatment. It would be wrong to take him up on it. In fact, it's not only immoral.
Excellent.
It's not only immoral. You should be legally brought up on accomplice to murder charges if you say yes.
I like that because it gets it back to my opinion, is the only question that should be asked in any pro-choice, pro-life argument is the humanity of the child. I mean, if it is a human, then it's wrong, and if it's not, then it's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, luckily, I guess the vast majority of medical procedures in America don't have these ethical issues that are entangled in them. But if I'm right that the unborn is a human being like you and me,
correct,
then killing her cannot be defended by simply stating it's a treatment for unwanted pregnancy. Yeah, it's a treatment, but it's a treatment where a paid doctor sucks or tears a living human being into pieces and then destroys the remains. That's not a treatment, it's unjustified
And then
killing.
you could also argue the fact of, if it's disease or, it's something, a medical procedure, then it's a medical procedure only for the mother and not for the other human involved.
Right.
So again, you've gotten it back to the issue of the humanity of the unborn.
Do no harm.
The unborn. Okay, we have some great questions and comments from our live listeners.
All right.
We will be responding to those in a web exclusive. You will only be able to get it on our website. You got to go to prolifepodcast.net. You can scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's a whole list of categories. Click on Web Exclusives, and you'll want to find the Web Exclusive for this episode to see what our listeners have to say and what we have to say back to them. That's our show. Thank you for watching.
You've been watching Life Report, pro-life talk, real-world answers. Life Report is produced by Right to Life of Central California. Visit their website at fresnoprolife.org.